Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends to discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, honey, but through our own lens, which could be, chapped, which can be, bubbly, which can be tannic. In so many ways. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi, friends. We are doing something at the same time, which is talking. And because we're so excited, honey, to tell you what podcast episode this is. It's on both of our tongues, honey, are just like a dog. Gunther's Millions, episode 4. And this is Heir of the dog.
Ha
Heir,
ha 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 ha.
not hair of
So,
the dog, which is like, just drinking right after a night of drinking, honey, trying to make sure that like your tummy feels bad, make it feel worse by putting more alcohol into it. Well, do you like drinking, when you're already hungover?
uh-uh. Is that what that hair of the dog is?
Yeah, hair of the dog is like literally like I've drank the night before. I am so disgustingly hungover. I feel gross. What do? Immediately get drunk by alcohol. And it will make you feel better. It's like literally like it's probably like for alcoholic people, like who have shakes in the morning. It's like, yeah, it's how you feel better, have more alcohol. Oh, it's hair of the dog.
Oh, you know what? Somebody did once tell me that. This is like in college. She was like, "No, that's what your body is craving. That's why you're sick. It's because your body's craving alcohol. So if you like drink 2 beers, then it'll go away." But like usually the next day for me is so terrible that it's like migraine city and like sleep. So no more alcohol for me at that time. But anyways, so yeah, this is the final episode of this weird ass documentary who takes us through so many left turns, right turns, and now last episode we took a left turn onto tax evasion lane, and now we are taking a right onto
Whose dog is
dog.
this? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, say it.
Whose dog is this? Road.
Yeah, that's what we're taking it onto. So in this episode, it's the end. So we're gonna get through this mighty quick. Antonella, she is the real dog owner. She is the
Mhm.
original owner of Gunther the Third, which was her dog, and she met Maurizio when she was 16 years old or something like that. And Maurizio was in her father's class as a student. And at first she was like, ugh, no. And I was like, you guys are both on the same level of attractiveness. And he somehow they became good friends. They got together. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we both own this dog. Go.
Yeah, the reason why I thought it'd be great to get together is she's her dad, who's like an art teacher's like, look, straight up, no, this Mauricio person, he's like one of the best students I ever had. He's really good at art. Now, I don't know why we never talk about this again. Like Maurizio, I think, is maybe an idiot savant and has like certain talents that we don't talk about. It's so funny because we talked about in the last episode that there was this contention that he felt like his mom wanted him to be a scientist, but he didn't want to be a scientist. Weirdly enough, starts his whole life to do weird experiments on people. Like, you are a fucking scientist. What's wrong with you? You have the money to make things happen anyway. God bless. But and then back here, we'll talk more about his science experimenting, but with the dog. But it's it's interesting because if someone I respected told me that this guy who likes me is like one of the best at something that he's ever seen, I'd be like, "Oh, okay." And then if I don't know, found out that that person was just like $500 million only child, I don't know. I would just be like, "Yeah, I'll go out with him." A little. I'd be like, "Oh, you know what? I'll take that date. I'll take that date." This girl is okay looking. She has a little mouth, and she seems angry all the time. Like
Mhm.
I'll tell you right now, it's very obvious because we've already met two of Maurizio's ex-flames, and these two women still very much hold in a regard, an esteem for him. Whether they want to bang him or not, probably not. Have you seen his hair? But both women are like, he's cool. Like I whenever Carla like still is around his life. But this woman is like, I hate that fucking asshole. No, I hate him. Like, I don't care how rich he is or the dog, whatever. Let me tell you about what he did to me, honey. Took my dog, So anyway, yeah, that's how I feel about that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I think maybe it's because Antonella didn't want to be a part of the cult, which is a key part of reasoning of wanting to like be with Maurizio is because he provided a certain lifestyle and Antonella wasn't willing to like put aside whatever lofty vision she had of herself. But
Mm,
anyways, so she
mhm.
named the dog Gunther because that was Bridget Bardot's husband. And so since Bridget Bardot was like the sex symbol of like European in the whatever years, his name was Gunther. So she named Gunther the dog after a famous lady's husband or whatever.
That's weird. Like, I guess it's like because even like Marilyn Monroe had like famous lovers, but they were all famous, and so like no one would be like, "Oh, I named my son Joe DiMaggio," and then we'd be like, "Oh, Marilyn Monroe's husband," like he's famous by himself. Like I can't think of like okay, I got it. Like no one's gonna name their son Chris Judd. No one's gonna name their son what was that? Chris
Haley Bieber.
Humphrey.
Haley Bieber.
Oh, I disagree. Haley Bieber at least was she was a Baldwin at least.
A Baldwin. She's a Baldwin?
Yes.
Oh.
She's Stephen Baldwin's daughter, yeah, isn't that so
Oh, I
crazy?
didn't know that. I thought she was another Canuck. Okay.
No, but anyway, I get the point, but, like, I guess, like, yeah, I mean, she's also, like, a famous model now, like, do you like, Chris Humphries was, I guess, a NBA player, but, like, I don't even know if he even plays in the NBA, like, why would you it's like naming someone the lesser known, periphery character of a sex symbol. I don't know. That's just
I don't
confusing.
know. She thought it was really hot, so that's what
She
she
really did.
did. And
Really did.
so then what happened is that Mauricio fell in love with Gunther, not with
Mhm.
Antonella. So
No,
he was
no.
just purely there for the German Shepherd. And then he got sick, the German Shepherd, right? And then his family's pharmaceutical company came up with some kind of medication or whatever, gave it to the dog. The dog had a clean bill of health. So this is, I think, maybe what sparked Maurizio's love of the media circuit, because they immediately started to go on all of these crazy ass Donatello / Oprah. Remember Oprah used to do, if you guys don't remember this, I'm going to remind you. Oprah's early shows were in 30-minute blocks. So she had a full hour, but she would have one guest that was different on the first 30 minutes and then a separate like theme the last 30 minutes. So she would do like, I married my turtle, and like people who married their animals in like the first 30 minutes, and then the next 30 minutes would be like, I'm a Nazi. So like so that's what kind of sleazy talk show, because this is like the birth of the talk show, right? Not late night, but like a daytime talk show.
Mhm.
And so he went on a bunch of these things, and he got this flair for the dramatics and for the media. And so they wanted to try to see if maybe they can make some kind of medicine that was going to cure depression and anxiety. And so they went on this media tour, and then Antonella somehow became this hater and like got upset, and then felt like her and her dog were being used. And then I don't know how this happened, but he used all his money to get Gunther the third cloned, or to start breeding more Gunthers. And then Antonella just kind of like falls to the wayside. And then we have Gunther the fourth.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And then we meet some last characters. So, like, then we meet the breeder that's been doing this, and like, he has a bunch of champs in his line. One of his champs is named Oprah,
Mm-hmm.
which I remember just being like,
Interesting.
no, no. Um, and then Lucy comes back, and it's so funny because I wonder if they ever asked Lucy to take the fall with like, well, I'm the head of PR. It was my idea for the Countess the whole time, but no, they really let him take the fall with his whole like mental health issues. So, the after this, the Gunther Corporation gets into dog breeding and dog kennels, but like there's drama there, like it just kind of feels like they'll do whatever, they'll buy a yacht or whatever. Like they're just constantly trying to find new ways to spend just a shit ton of money,
And make it too. So yeah, with that whole thing with the dog breeding, they ended up, because they bred so many different lines of Gunther, that they made it a company so that it could, like, I guess, get like some kind of tax write-off or whatever. That's what you do, right? It was when you're doing a thing, you create a company around it. And so they do that. And then there's this guy, his name is Alaric or whatever, I don't know how to say it. And then they asked Lucy about the kennel, and she's like, "Oh wait, are we talking about that? Can we talk about that? Are we talking about the kennel? I don't want to talk about the kennel." Like, then enters this like Tim Burton-esque figure. They like have him in some like gray lighting, and he's like sitting down with his hair slicked back, and he's like, "Yes, I began working for Alaric on this day, and I really love the animals, but I knew something was up, from the beginning." And then we're like, "What's up?" Then they cut to some other characters, two bleach blonde individuals who love tattoos, who like playing with German shepherds in like a field, and they're like, "Yeah, we have lots of dogs. We love them. We love German shepherds." And they feverishly call the animals to them, and the animals just don't come. So it's like, "Oh, you're not that good at whatever it is you think you're trying to sell us that you're doing." We find out that they get also hired to go and take care of the dogs. So they end up going to this beautiful villa, right? Oh, it's beautiful. They love the grounds. They get inside and they realize that like the inside of the house is just like one big ass kennel with several cages of like 52 dogs that are malnourished and that have just spent their whole time in the cages. And then the other Tim Burton character was like, "Yeah, it was just so many animals for me to try to take care of, and I didn't know what was going on, and I didn't want to tell the polizia." So then finally he tells the polizia, and then Mauricio gets wind of this, and they're like, "What's happening?" And so everyone is blaming Alaric for the fact that he treated these animals poorly and then barely got any help. It's like, what was he doing with the money that he was probably given to take care of the Gunters? And he's like, "Well, what did Maurizio say?" And I'm like, "Why does that matter? Just tell us why you let these dogs be in terrible conditions." So that's the big secret, is that the dogs were in terrible conditions. And
God, it seems so hard to keep dogs in terrible conditions if you have any semblance of money. Like, there's nothing but land. I mean, land with like some shelter and some like, and then you just have to pay for people to clean. Like, they don't need to have like nice accommodations. You just have to have it be like serviced, cleaned out poop. There's water, there's fresh food. Like, it just seems, God, like a dream job, truly.
yeah. So then we have a scene of Maurizio and Carla going to the Bahamas looking for a place to have a dog sanctuary. And I'm like, Bahamas? There's no place in Italy? You don't even take them to the Bahamas?
Carol Ashley, honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's from Carol Ashley.
And also, you're going to put a bunch of German shepherds on an island? A 38-acre island? That's not very big. 38 acres? That's it?
It seems also
They
like
run around with the iguanas?
you went out.
Oh.
So I was waiting for you to like either say the last part again.
Running around the island with the iguanas?
Honey, listen. Carol Ashley told them they needed to do something on the island because I haven't been here long enough, or something. I gotta be some legitimate business. But dogs are good. It has to be Gunther related. And he was like, check. I'll come here with Carla. Like at this point, Carla like has the dog now. Like, we also realize that when we've seen the dog, not that the dog really makes any difference because it's not a rich dog now. We've realized it's like, just a rich man with his dog who's named Gunther, the 29th. But the Gunters that we even see, like, sometimes are not even like the quote unquote like Gunters that there are. They're like Gunter's cousins, because he has just like clone dogs and dogs. Like, Carla's right now taking care of the dogs. Like, Carla is Maurizio's like sister / ex-wife, and almost feels that way.
Oh. Whew. I was like, what are you talking about? So
the part where that was the big drop of the, yes, honey, that's a sister.
No. I was like really confused. I was like, that's not what I saw. So anyways, like, we start to talk a little bit about Maurizio's depression. He tells us that he's bipolar and that, this whole thing was just made up because he needed something to do, basically. And then everybody else who they tell, like, they tell the camera guy from episode 1, or the not the camera guy, the Let's Do Lunch, the casting director from episode 1, that not only did Carol that the Countess didn't exist and that everything was basically made up, and they're just like, well, having experienced life with Maurizio was has opened me up as a person. Michelle said it opened her up as a person. I mean, opened her up so much, and now all she does is stay in her house and dog sit. Lee has opened up as a person. The guy who does the male escort service has opened up. They all learned how to live fabulously because of Maurizio.
Oh yeah, especially that Garrett opened up businesses in New York, Vegas, LA. If you go to his website, which I didn't, they don't list them. They don't list the men that are available in each city, and they don't sometimes also have a private picture that just has private and a name that you would have to then email them to get that person's information.
I mean, I'm just like, I don't think I would want to pay for sex from men. I mean, even though it would be good, I think they're professionals. But I just would like to give drunk at a bar some more chances, you know?
No, I also don't wanna pay for sex from a man because I would indubitably think that he has had sex with many women, and I tend to get I tend to view that the way that men from the '50s think of it for females, which is you're dirty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting to know about Chris Farah.
Mhm.
Um
Dirty D.
yeah, like I mean, I think every man's D is dirty. So that's the one thing. Everyone is disgusting individual.
Really?
Yeah.
You think every man's disgusting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
because are you thinking because he has had, a bunch of sex, or he would, have sex with any situation, person at any given time like, no, like, connection, just whatever? Like, what is it about it? Or all?
Yeah, I mean, like it. Okay, so whenever I'm like dealing with a celebrity, I think they're dirty. I think they all have,
Yeah.
they're gross.
Oh, yeah.
And then when I'm dealing with like a regular guy, I just feel like men just be out here doing whatever, especially if they're like going out like to bars drinking. Listen,
Yes.
no judgment because I'm now a person who goes out to the bars drinking. But when I
Mhm,
wasn't, I
mhm,
assumed everyone was out. Anyone who was out in public intoxicated was trying to hook up and
mhm.
having a lot of sex. I had roommates who would hook up with people from bars. And so I'm like, oh, this drinking culture of going out and hooking up is like a thing. So like anyone who does that to me is a dirty D.
Dirty dude. Dirty dude. How's your, by the way, and this is, if you're on our Patreon, you would know this. How's your, like, Ice Cube situation?
Oh, you know what?
What?
I had to stop it because the limes weren't working well. The mints might work well, but I mixed the mints with the lime and it was really bitter. It would
Mm.
make very bitter water. So back to the drawing board. But for a while there it was great. I mean, with just the lemons, when I was just doing lemon and the water, it was quite tasty.
Yeah, and I told you to try some basil. You'll love it too. Lemon, basil, cucumber, mint, God bless. All right, my loves. Okay, so basically, let me give you some updates. Maurizio, yes, obviously suffers from bipolar, and we have 4 episodes of really a man's delusional life, and then kind of like piecing like an onion, going back layer and layer to really get to the story of a very lovely, probably very smart, very lonely feeling man that has for his life riddled with has been riddled with depression and has been struggling to overcome it.
Yeah.
Struggle. Really wants to. Like, it has tried to isolate the way why, and probably has, completely surrounded himself with hey girl honors, yes people. I don't, and I wonder who he has in his life that can be real with him. And I hope Carla, maybe,
Yeah.
and if she can stand up to him and sometimes be like, dude, absolutely fucking not. But anyway, so he does do sports management. He has owns different football slash soccer teams. That's what you say in Italy still. And he still has the corporation. That's why all the people still have the titles that like Lucy has and all that stuff. The money still exists. And there's the 2 lawyers. All of that's very much still happening. Fabrizio is in prison. As of March 2021, is in prison. So violating different paroles. Juan, I wondered what that meant. Like, listen, I don't wish prison on anyone. I'm sure it's not good.
Oh,
But
I wish it on several people.
yeah, I don't know why I said that. No, I definitely a lot of people different. So, but like an Italian prison, I was like, well, what kind of food do you have there? Like,
Mm,
because honestly, pasta
pasta.
is yummy and also quite cheap. Like, it's dried. Like, you don't have to have fresh pasta. Like, and it seems like in Italy, they, I'm sure, have a lot. Like, there's just what I want to know is, are they eating pasta every day? And what's their cheese? What kind of cheese they have? Do you know that I tried to literally do research for you all on an article, and this article, now I don't want to, I'm not a history scholar. Well,
Oh my God, you're not a lawyer. You're not a doctor. You're not a therapist. You're not a rapper. You're not a history scholar. Go.
no, I'm not. So I can't, make this 100%. But this one article said that every inmate is given 250 milliliters of wine a day. Well,
Oh my God, good for them. It's like, is wine just less potent? It's like wine has been drunk throughout the centuries. Is wine less potent than it is elsewhere? I just don't understand.
no, it has, yeah, the alcohol content varies, but Italians usually have a high alcohol content. Here comes, honey, your WSET level 2 of the day. So the warmer the climate, typically, and this is not for everything, but typically, the warmer the climate, you can ascertain there might be more alcohol in a warmer climate buried uh, varietal. So, um, so like a small, so yeah, in a, even though France is in Italy are close to each other, French colder reds would be less alcoholic, should be. But however, at the same time, you could also adjust things in the winemaking process. So there's no rules. Having said that, yeah, they're all drinking Chiantis. They're just having a little like Italian table wine. It's just like, it's easy for
Oh
them.
my God. Wait, so Chianti is Italian table wine?
Yes.
Meaning that like it's just like the general one that just like people just put out. So it's
Yeah,
not
like
like special or anything?
if you go to an Italian restaurant and like sometimes they'll just have one on the table, it usually will be a Chianti. And sometimes even like if you've ever had the Italian wine that is in a straw like basket, sometimes
Mhm.
that's Chianti too.
Oh,
You're welcome.
thank you. But is there anything special about it? Like, is it like if I go to the grocery store and get it, am I like having like I'm just getting like
Yeah.
the
Now listen, yes, you can. I know what you're saying. Now you can get Chianti Classical Reservas, which are higher, like which are really good vintages at really good vineyards of the varietal, but like, and there's also just, mixed from a region that doesn't have a good, DOA or whatever. That's kind of like what that is. But having said that, wine is meant to be eaten with foods, sometimes, and specifically with cuisine laden cultures, you can put your money on the fact that the best way to eat some Italian foods is with what the wine in the region is. And so Chianti and like charcuterie, Chianti, hard cheeses, Chianti pasta, like you can't go wrong. No, there are other Italian reds too. You can get into Valpolicino and like,
yeah.
Nebbiolo. God bless. You can do you. But
Yeah. So we end this off by basically being told that everything we learned in the first two episodes was a lie. And that this person has held on to this lie and these people around him have held on to it. Now,
they've,
Lee and the other people are like, it doesn't matter if it was a lie. What does it matter?
of course,
I made a whole life of it. I got paid from it. Like my life was fabulous, and my life continues to be fabulous because of Maurizio. So it doesn't really matter that the Countess wasn't real. And then the women who love him, Christina and Carla, they have his babies. So of course they're invested in him and his well-being and his wealth. And it is what it is. Like the porn star, she came back and we were like, why? Why were you even here to begin with? Why did they keep any footage of you here? Why did they even keep the porn star theory? I mean, like thread going. That could have been on the cutting room floor. And now all the Gunthers have been released. The 52 skinny dogs are now adopted. 9 of them by the 2 women who have tattoos and love to play in a field, and others by other folk. And so in order to make up for that, there's going to be an animal reserve in the Bahamas. So that's the end of this documentary. Oh, and then Mauricio like thinks like it's over and that they're done filming with him. He's like, "Hey, turn it off." And he's like, "Hey, come here. Why don't we tell the people that the dogs were cloned? Sounds better, right? Sounds more spectacularity."
Beep, 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 beep. I
He
like to think that the dog is the one that's like pushing a little dog nose and making sure that everyone's fucking amulet thing is just like blazed, you know? Whoop.
Yeah.
He's
So
moving.
Gunther is still with them. I think it's Gunther there was the fourth, the fifth. I think it's Gunther the sixth, because the fifth died in 2012. So
Yeah, and the 6th was with Carla. Their little Netflix thing that I read was like 5 questions with Maurizio, and it's like it's very translated where I'm like, it feels so stagnant. He's basically like, I liked this Gunther more than this Gunther, and this Gunther had this personality. Like the Gunther 4 was very dominant. Gunther 5 loved being around people. I really didn't like Gunther. It's like, so he seems very eccentric, and I don't know what's going to happen as he ages, but it seems like he doesn't want the limelight anymore unless I mean, because it doesn't feel like he funded any part of this Netflix series. So having said that, if he's wanted fame, the funny thing is probably this is the most fame he's going to probably get. I wonder if this will kind of re-enter a version of the monster, you know?
I don't know, and I hope we don't see him ever again. I could go without this. Thank you for those of you who listen to every single episode of this. Like, this was one of the ones that's going to go down in the like B column for me. It's like it started off great. It started off like it was going to be everything we needed it to be.
Mhm.
And it ended in a dud. It ended sad, and it ended in a way that I didn't find to be thrilling at all. So, for those of you guys, when we do release Sally McNeil's documentary, that's one of the greats. One you should go back and listen to is the Till Swan documentary. One of the greats. Any other ones that you think were good, Chris, that we've done so
I
far?
love Deep End. No, the same. You know what? I think we have a lot on the docket coming up that we're going to like get into. I think that we've been really enjoying Love After Lockup and such, and so it's really hard to find something that also because there's docuseries keep wanting to stretch stories into more than episodes than they need. I'm gonna say this Gunther's Millions could have been 3 episodes easily.
Yeah.
And I think that it's like they really could have used less characters.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, it just wasn't one of the best. It's hard. So tell us what you want us to watch after you've watched it. We're thinking of doing Pam or Pamela.
Yeah.
That's on Netflix. Um, like I said, we've got the Sally McNeil one coming out next week, so you'll be able to watch that one. It was great. So it really is hit or miss, and so we need your eyes to tell us
Mhm.
what's good. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you would like to see the visuals of what you were hearing today, you can join us on Patreon, and that's patreon.com/docusweeties. It helps support us in our podcasting journey. We're doing some fun collabs that are coming up.
Mhm.
And we appreciate you guys, your support. We appreciate you telling your friends about us or retweeting us on Twitter or, whatever place you retweet things. I don't know why I said that. I'm never on Twitter. But yeah, thank you so much. So Chris will tell you about our social medias.
No, I mean, I think you did a great job already. But however, if you want to retweet, there are many tweets. Go to Twitter and then put in at DocuSweeties1. If you are on Instagram, you don't have to put that one there. You can just put at DocuSweeties. And same thing on TikTok. Thank you guys so much for going on this journey, this 4-part journey. Now, remember to give us 5 stars when you actually give our podcast a review wherever you are listening. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And, if you're going to be rich, you don't just be you. You don't have to bring a whole dog into it.
And if you're going to be rich, contact me and I will be your friend.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. Me too. I'm
Bye. Oh, go ahead.
Burgundian. I'm just like, I'll be your Burgundian for life,
All right, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.